Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a prosperous week and just full of positive energy, basically. Today we are just gonna talk, really. And I'm gonna season some meat, and I hope I am speaking clear because although I didn't get a lot of comments on the last video, and please be sure to like and comment and subscribe, but definitely comment. I would love the feedback. I love the feedback. But anyway, something went wrong with something I said in my last video, which basically everyone heard me say, or thought I said, that I soaked my meat, like, like soaked, like in, like it wrapped like soap, I guess. But listen, I'm from up north, and for one, I was raised by a lot of Caribbeans and lived around a lot of them. I was speaking a little fast and having a little wine, a little couple cocktails too at the time too of that video. But no, I do not soak my meat in soap products. I was saying that I had soaked the meat, like the ribs, the fried ribs of the last video. I had soaked them, like I had soaked them, but I was just speaking fast, and I was like so excited to hurry up and get the video like going. I was so excited to get started. But anyway, so with that being said, today I have a couple things that I want to talk about. But as we talk and discuss some things, I'm gonna just season a really good steak. I'm just gonna show you how I season my steak, and maybe you can get some ideas off of it. This is actually my favorite meat. If anybody has like a older, person in their life that is always telling them, listen, meat, as far as beef, takes 30 days to process through the body. So it's really not that good to eat a lot of beef, so I don't. But it is my guilty pleasure. I love me a good piece of steak. A good piece of steak. Baby, let me tell you, like a good piece of steak, especially if it's medium and seasoned well, I'm all for it. And I personally don't like boneless steaks or any, type of boneless strip steak or anything. If it's gonna be a steak, I need a piece of bone in it at some point. Like I need bone in it. I don't like boneless. So we are gonna be seasoning up tonight certified beef steak. It's also considered I don't know if you guys can get a good visual of it. As you can see, I've already washed it and everything like that. It's been washed very well. I've cleaned it really good and washed it down. So we're gonna season it together, and I'm just gonna show you along. But it's a very chunky piece too. Every now and then I like to treat myself to something with some girth on it. You know what I'm saying? Like something, something real good with a nice fresh vegetable on the side. So tonight we're just gonna season and talk, okay? So I could really just talk about the things that I want to talk about. So a lot's been going on this week. The main topic that I want to discuss is Bum Polite, aka Brother Polite, with these egregious things that he has done to this beautiful princess. And I prayers in positive energy to her family, and to her as well. But I want to talk about the fact that you have people that are still speculating and thinking that this is some type of setup in some kind of way, or as if this is some conspiracy. And DNA is DNA. I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that he even just went on live with the popcorn as if it was something to boast about, like a win, that he had 2 charges dismissed, sir, that's not a win. As you had 2 charges dismissed, but your charges were hiked up. So, no, that's not the case here. And although with those charges being dismissed, you're not facing life, but with the remaining charges that you still do have, you still can possibly be facing life with them being ran however they're ran. You can do up to 100 years. So without me going into all of the, technicalities of it all, I just want to talk more about the fact that the community in itself is being robbed by its own people. And it's just because of the lack of education that we have in the community, the lack of support. And I can definitely say for my own self that I have felt that in my own life, where I was going through a rough patch in my life. And as I was saying, shout out to Bless One, that you could be going through something and feel like you don't have an avenue in your own personal life as far as friends and family and people to really divulge your problems to. And then here you go, scrolling on YouTube. Scrolling on YouTube or maybe Instagram or just the internet in itself. And you come across something that maybe seems uplifting. And that's what Brother Polight was perpetuating into the community, as if he was trying to uplift the community, teach the community, show another way, and educate. But no, you were abusing the community. Abusing the community in such a way where now there is a young girl. She is a child that is traumatized for the rest of her life. The dramatic pause is so you can think about that. Please, if anybody is not familiar, please, Michael Nowak, Brother Polight, it's all over. Allegedly, for educational purposes, let me just say this, allegedly, he sexually assaulted this young lady. And to be clear, he has daughters of a particular age. He has daughters of a particular age. But let's go ahead and start seasoning this meat and still talk at the same time. So again, I have this Chuck thick, nice beef steak. Bone in, baby. Bone in. I personally would consider it a T-bone. I would consider it a T-bone because this thick bone, and this is why they got my coins, because I was just like, give it to me. I went to the butcher that's pretty familiar with me, and she was like, you want this? And I said, when I come and purchase a good steak like this, it's all for me. I may slice a corner off for my daughter, but for the most part, I am going to take my time with this beautiful thing. So the ingredients that I have for it tonight is some Morton's season. All right, now I would suggest to not use so much of this pertaining to particular meats that you're using. Now, such as a thick piece of cut beef like this, you can play around with it a little bit, especially because it's already been really washed through, rinsed down already. So sure, yes. And again, that was so not the case in my last video. I do not wash my meat. And shout out to all of the non-black people, whether you're Hispanic, Caucasian, and they say that you guys wash your meat in soap. That's not my tea over here. This was washed in just pure lukewarm water and a little bit of vinegar, okay? And I just gave it a little bit of love with my hands and just, got the Essex, like blood, and just things off of it, and just, made it real fresh. Anyway, so we're going to start off with the Morton seasoning. But anyway, so I have been seeing that the conscious community has really been, skeptical, honestly, about some of the things that they've been posting because of the simple fact that this man has basically went ahead and tried to threaten and say that he was going to go ahead and start suing people, doing what was it, cyber cyber defamation, uh litigation or something like that, which is something that's not even like a thing. And for two, if the proof is there, I mean, people have the right to say what they want to say, for one, especially if they're still saying it's alleged. It's alleged. Yes, you have not been proven guilty by the court of law, but by court of opinion, scientifically, and just like, come on, common damn sense, as you are supposed to be, the conscious community, the whole tap, all of that. Listen, okay? I don't even have to say it. This says it right here, right? So anyway, I have recently been trying to tap in with a couple of people that I just know, and just talking to them like, hey, have you heard about this story with Brother Polite? And some people kind of know about him, some people don't, some people aren't so aware, which is it's in it. And I feel like it is our responsibility, even if you are not a part of the conscious community or any of the tribes of the Israelites, the Hebrews, or even just the NOI, the Nation of Islam. The fact that this is a black thing, and the fact that this was a black girl, and so many things go unspoken. Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, I'm using this right here. This is a Cajun Choice Blackened Season. It's just to give it like a little extra little twang. It's not gonna make it spicy, but it's just gonna give it a little extra flavor. Because once I season this up, I'm gonna just throw a little onion and garlic on it. I'm gonna actually foil this up and put it in the fridge, and then I'm gonna grill it tomorrow. I'm not sure actually if I'm gonna use my George Foreman and just bust it down, or just let it slow cook for maybe about 40 minutes in the oven. So yeah, but anyway, I think it's very important to just pick people's brain. Like, I like for the past week or so, just for conversation pieces, I'm like, hey, have you heard about the situation with Brother Polite? And some people, again, like I said, haven't heard about him. Hold on, let me take my charger out. I haven't heard about him or don't know much about him. And again, maybe don't know much about the story in itself. I'm sorry, guys. But I just think it's really, really sad that you look to the black community and to the women out there who are, searching for a stable family or a stable household or a husband in that aspect. You look to that and you get abused and violated by that same person who was trying to install teachings and everything. And not for nothing, this man was talking down to the black community at some point. But here you go being chauvinistic and being like, all braggadocious with this hat on, talking this pen talk with this bag of popcorn. And I mean, to be honest with you, the proof is out there. The sources have been, right now I'm using a little bit of basil. I like color. Basil doesn't have a lot of color as it does with parsley, as if you've seen on my other videos. I love color. So basil just adds a little color and just a little, what would I call it? Style, I guess. Because for taste so much, no. Not really. But just a little style onto the steak. And it just makes it a little pretty, you know? Look at that. Look at that baby. Right? And when she sits tonight, when when honey sits tonight, I am definitely about to get on this fat. This is actually my favorite part of the steak. I don't know about anybody else, but I love a good piece of fat. Especially if it's tender. Like, I mean, you put it in your mouth and it's like, like, it's just like amazing. So I personally love a good piece of fat, and I'm sure there's a couple of other people out there who love a good piece of fat. But anyway, yeah, so this man has been perpetuating a bunch of bull to the community, not just to the conscious community, but to the black community as a whole. Okay? And it's setting us back because, again, they feel like they can bunch us all up into this one thing, make us seem like we all are like this, and that's not the case. We are not all like this. You understand what I'm saying? So, anyway, I'm going to be really light on the seasoning salt only because I've already added the Morton season as I showed before. So this is just some real basic seasoning salt, some spice seasoning salt. I'm going to be real gentle with this again because there's fat on this steak already. So you have to be aware to know that you don't want it to be super salty, and we want to lay off the salt. But again, because this is a very thick piece of steak and I want it to marinate really nice, I want everything to get its just due. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anything to be left out. So I'm gonna now lay off of all of the extra seasonings, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of pepper and love and some onions, and we're gonna go ahead and massage the meat. All right, so let me just rinse my hands. But again, I got more passionate about this because, for one, I'm a mother of myself, of a 13-year-old, right? Two, I want to protect my child to the best that I can. This is my onion that I'm going to use. I've had it in the sink for a while. I had a warm water running over it for a little while, and I let it sit and get wet. And I said this before, my little trick is because once you cut into a really good fresh white onion or a yellow onion, if you want to avoid the tears and it's fresh, really fresh, then it's best to rinse it. And actually, when I'm going to cut into it right now, just a little bit, I'm just going to have it like a jarred, and I'm going to let the water run a little bit, okay? But it's just unfortunate that we are seeing this play out. And now he just, to me, looks like a clown. I mean, did you guys see the court hearing today? The Zoom court hearing? I mean, you went from eating popcorn with your hat on or whatever to, you know, looking down like, yes, yeah, I understand. Like, oh no, you have a stay away restriction. Do not contact. Do not do third party. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even want to get into the Nicki Minaj thing because that is a whole another standpoint in itself. To be honest with you, I really was inspired by her growing up, her come up story, and just the simple fact that I feel like she's so affiliated with these nasty men and trying to deflect and doing so much damage in the community with the things that she's been, you know, using her platform for. I mean, I wish I had a platform like that. And that's what you want to do. You need to be focusing on the fact that you are raising a black son that may not have a father for the next 10 years because of the egregious things that he did to a young lady. But anyway, so we're gonna lastly go ahead and use this Kingsford Original All-Purpose Seasoning. It's really like a barbecue type of tea. All right. I'll turn this down so you guys could get like a better glimpse of it. But this right here is the bee's knees. Like, this is the bee's knees. Like, it's everything. Okay, it's basically, you can use this on any meat. It's for to smoke it up a little bit, just give it more of a charred barbecue type of flow or whatever. So it's really, really good. But yeah, so another reason why this Brother Perlite situation triggers me so much is because I've been a victim of these type of things in my life. And I feel for the mom too. Although, like, some people are like, "Oh, the mom knew," and this is that. Listen, the prayers have to go out to everyone, and the proof is there. You want to sit there and try to deflect, and then it's causing all these debates with us as the black community, talking about, "Oh, the mom this." No, she immediately. The story is there. It's in the statement. Okay, he said, "Please do not call the cops. This will ruin my career." She looked at this nigga and said, "What? Are you bugging?" And she handled her business. 4 different types of drugs was found in her. Okay? Okay? There is evidence of your semen on this young lady. So before you try to use the narrative that you are being set up or whatever, let's talk about the facts here. Right. Anyway, I was really triggered by this story because, like I said, in my childhood, I definitely understand, and I have been in experiences like that before in my own life. And I also can understand that it can may trigger you to just start, maybe being promiscuous or just whatever, not sure of knowing what's right or what have you. But I also know that I had my daughter, and not all women were blessed to tap into natural motherly instincts. You know what I mean? So I thank God that I did. I thank God that when I feel something ain't really right, I move forward with it. Like, yeah, I'm going to go with what my gut feeling tells me. I'm going to go with what my spirit is telling me. So, again, the rest of the story is to still come to play. Yes, it is. But also, let's have some compassion. Let's have some compassion. And I'm not just saying this like, "Oh, woe is me" to the black woman. Let's have compassion to the black woman and the black mother. But for one, have compassion for that 14-year-old girl, right? 2, have compassion for children as a whole. Because this is not just happening to young girls. This is happening to little boys too. Young men are being abused by people like Mr. Polite. Yes, Mr. Polite. Because you're not a brother to me. And I'm being very nice by saying Mr. Polite, right? But young men are being abused as well. So you're going around trying to make it seem like you have this fancy talk because you're just like the same people who are trying to oppress the black community, the urban community, to think that everybody that is black or lives in an urban area doesn't know anything and is ignorant. So you talk with these big words as if you are some god or something, and you really are not. You really are not. You are just as nasty and as savage. But anyway, before I end this video, I want to cut up a little onion, and I want to get into just briefly a little bit about myself real quick. So I had an experience over the past week and I ran into some old friends. And you ever walk into a room and you just kind of like know that, everyone's been talking about you, but instead of them saying, oh, I heard this, and coming to you like, oh, I thought this is not, or really worrying about your well-being. Because I'm the type of girl, listen, I feel like consistency is everything. I've had the same number for probably like 15, 20 years, right? So listen, I can't, and this is to anyone who is my supporter, who wants to watch and support the channel, please, because I'm out here and I'm trying to be an entrepreneur and get it on my own and really do it how I could do it. If you feel like gossip is a thing for you that's helping you in your spirit, fine. But once you're done with that gossip, think about the fact that what did that do for you, right? And unfortunately, people don't care about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. It's just what it is. And that's another poison that is happening in the community, because people will go ahead and assume, especially if you're black, that if you're having mental health issues, you are crazy, or something's wrong with you, you're weird, or you're on drugs. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a lot of this, and that, and that's not helping the community. There's nothing wrong with just reaching out to someone and saying, hey, I was just wondering how your daughter was doing or how you were doing, and I wanted to reach out to give a lending hand. Let me just get the knife, guys. I want to reach out and give a lending hand, or not even a lending hand, but hey, if you ever need me, don't hesitate to call, sister. Don't hesitate to call. And unfortunately, it's not enough of that in the community at all. And I have experienced that quite often in my life. Right now, by the way, guys, I am just chopping up this onion just a little bit. I'm just going to sprinkle this onion a little bit on the top of this beautiful steak. By the way, as you guys can see, she is brewing good, honey. Look at that. And we are going to make this together, guys. All right, I'm not going to leave you out. I am definitely going to do this together. I'm just trying to figure out a way to learn my editing and, try to make the video more like, less long, so that we can be able to talk about important things and still be able to get into some fun things that I'm into, which is food and cooking. Like, I love it. I love feeding. I love experiencing and trying different things with food. That's just what God blessed me with. So, all right. But anyway, yes, I went through that, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of loyalty left in the world. A lot of people run to what seems to be more interesting. A lot of people feel like if they're in a better place than you are at that particular time, that they're better than you. And I had to learn this myself. We all can fall at any moment. Your life can take a 360 turn from one place to another. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a video and just talk about that, so that we could just have time, less time consuming on the food tip, so I could just like get into that more. But yeah, I definitely have experienced that myself in like the past 7 days. I had a really awkward experience with some friends that I've known my whole life, basically. But it is what it is. And then it's like, I don't really know. I guess I didn't let this run over too good because my eyes are burning. Hold on one second, guys.